parents never really minded the tattoos too much. I think I kind of exhausted them with all the piercings I kept showing up with. I managed to convince my mum to let me get one of my ears pierced. I think it was there, and I hated it. So I decided that I was going to get something else. So I got my tongue done and didn't tell my parents. I think I was 16 when I got that done. Got me in so much trouble. And then my nose, and then it just after that it just kind of snowballed. And I think I exhausted them with turning up at home with piercings all the time. So when it came to tattoos, they'd practically given up on me by that point. And my dad's got tattoos as well, so they couldn't really deny me with the tattoo. I started designing tattoos for myself when I was about 12, but obviously I wasn't allowed to get them until I was old enough. And then when I hit 18, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted, so I started getting piercings instead, because I knew I could take them out. And then I finally settled on a few tattoos and started getting work done. Well, my first tattoo was the skull and crossbones on the inside of my lip. It's kind of scarred and bled out a little bit from being punched in the mouth so much, but I got that because I promised myself a tattoo, my first tattoo after a fight I had, and I scheduled the fight for the week after straight away. So the only place I could get tattooed was inside my bottom lip, because it was the only place that would heal fast enough. It was only a couple of minutes long and it was pretty painless, and it's been my favourite tattoo ever since. I was so determined to get one, and then as soon as I had the one fight finished, another one was booked straight away for the week after. Exactly, a week later, I was like, I've got to get a tattoo because I promised myself. So I actually had a training partner did it as well. A friend of mine, Psycho Steve Tetley, he did a few of my first tattoos, and he made it pretty. He tried to make it as painful as possible because that's the kind of guy he is. But it was, it was good fun. It was a good time. I got a front cover of a magazine from it as well. Done straight after the George St. Pierre fight. So I actually lost my granddad during that training camp. That was 6 weeks before the fight, and he was really important to me, and to my martial arts career as well. So I wanted to get something to kind of commemorate him, and a mug of tea was the only thing that I could think that was fitting for him. I should say. I mean, he was just a hard worker. Worked all his life, worked really hard. Gave out anything you wanted, whatever you needed, he would give it to you. And he started training when he was 60 as well, and trained with me in Taekwondo till he was 65. So he was a soldier. But I got a mug of tea for him because he drank tea constantly, and it just kind of made sense. It was a long training camp for the George St. Pierre fight. I think I did 14 weeks, and for the whole training camp, from the start of it, it was a case of going to the gym and then to the hospital and back and forth. He was kind of slowly deteriorating for the duration of the training camp, and it was about 5 or 6 weeks out. I'd just finished training. I'd gone to the hospital and he'd been unconscious for a couple of days, and I did an interview just outside of his room with a Canadian website, and I stepped back in, and a couple of minutes later he took his last breath. And we all sat around and had a cry and a cup of tea, and then I flew out to New Jersey for the fight.
And he watched you from the higher seats that night.
He did. He certainly did. He gave me some strength in that fight. There's no doubt about it. Music's really important in my life. It always has been, even from when I was a real small child, because my parents were so into music, and just the kind of music I grew up listening to. Tattoos went alongside metal and hardcore. So obviously as soon as I started listening to the heavy bands, I wanted tattoos. Scar music, yeah. One of my first memories is sitting in the back of my dad's Ford Cortina listening to Madness and Specials. The one on the back of my other leg. This was a friend of mine. It's the guy off the Specials album cover. It's the little Scar Man, and that was we were actually, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were sitting in a diner in Hollywood, and we had a few friends over from the East Coast, tattoo artists that were out there for a convention, and we just got talking. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, we should have a tattoo party tonight." So we went to their hotel in Beverly Hills, and they got the place set up and sterilized everything and laid it all out. And one of the guys tattooed, well, I had that one done by one of the guys, and then this one done by the other, and then I tattooed
the same night?
No, this one was a week or so before, and then I tattooed both of them after. So
With your knuckles or with ink?
With ink, yeah. I actually tattooed them. So there are two guys who are tattooing on the East Coast that have got two really bad tattoos of boxing gloves by me. But they thought it was awesome, and it was a good time. It was a good story, and I'll always remember that story when I look at that tattoo.